Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and being here and being so supportive of Hunter and I's journey to try and have a third baby. We are officially on month 6 of trying to conceive, and just to give a little background for anybody who's new, I had my first 2 babies. The very first time that we tried, we were extremely fortunate with fertility. Both of my births were extremely traumatic. My first birth was traumatic, my second pregnancy was traumatic, so we did decide to have my husband get a vasectomy after my second was born, and for the past 5 years, we have been really sure that we are done having children. Well, slowly but surely over those 5 years, we kind of started discussing the possibility of having a third baby, and as our hearts started to heal and as we distanced ourselves from the trauma of birth, it got a lot easier to comprehend and wrap our minds around the idea of having another baby. Now, there is nothing wrong with us only having 2 kids. We adore our family and we are incredibly happy. However, Hunter and I always wanted a bigger family than just 2 kids, and we definitely felt as both kids got closer to being in school full time that we just didn't really resonate with being done raising children before full-time school, if that makes sense. And it was definitely hard for me to picture my life being here at home for the majority of the day without a baby or without a toddler. And I absolutely adore the newborn stage. I adore when my toddlers are learning to explore and learning to walk and learning to talk, and I just love that age. And it's been difficult as Blakely's gotten older to imagine not experiencing that again. So after a lot of discussion, as you guys know, we decided to get a vasectomy reversal, and we are so incredibly happy that we were blessed enough to have a successful surgery. There was a 95% success rate, so we felt pretty good. And in the surgery, they were able to tell us if he had swimmers on both sides, for lack of better terms, and he did. So we felt pretty confident that when he went in for an analysis at 4 weeks and 12 weeks post-op, that they would both look good, and indeed they did. At 4 weeks, he was right where he needed to be post-surgery, but we were still working on motility. And so then we went back in for another appointment at 12 weeks, and he was 100% good to go, so much so that it is no longer a factor in our fertility or future conception that Hunter had a vasectomy reversal. Okay, you guys, if you spend way too much time on your phone editing, typing, or just juggling life, this little thing from Syncom has become my new favorite way to relax at home. This is the Syncom portable hand massager, and you can get it right on Amazon, which is so convenient. My hands are always so tired from filming, editing, cooking, just doing things around the house for my kids. I'm sure that all of you can relate. So having something that I can literally just grab, sit down, and use for a few minutes has been amazing. And it is portable, lightweight, cordless, and it honestly takes up no space. I can use it while I'm working, watching TV, and even when I'm on the go. My absolute favorite part is actually the finger air pressure. It gently works through each finger and your whole hand in this really relaxing way. It feels so good after long days. There are 3 massage modes and 2 optional heat settings, and everything is super simple to control. You can customize it based on the kind of relief or comfort that you want that day. And honestly, you guys, this makes such an incredible gift. Birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, anything. It's thoughtful, it's relaxing, and I feel like everyone could honestly use something like this. So if you want something easy and calming that you can use anytime, check out the Syncom portable hand massager. It's available on Amazon. I'll put the link, the code, and everything that you'll need in my description box down below. This has become one of my favorite little self-care moments. Thank you so much again to Syncom for sponsoring today's video. And now let's dive back into the vlog. It is no longer a factor in our fertility or future conception that Hunter had a vasectomy reversal. He is actually more fertile than the average man. All of his numbers, including count, motility, morphology, volume, etc., were all above average. And so that is extremely exciting. And obviously, based on our past history, we had a slightly naive outlook going into this conception journey. And I've been really open and honest with you guys how it has been a little bit surprising for us that we are moving into our 6th month of trying to conceive. It's definitely opened our eyes to a new world and allowed us to develop so much empathy for those of you who are also on a fertility journey and a conception journey. I will admit though, mine is definitely much more elective, and we did have to let science take its course So I certainly cannot imagine what most of you have experienced, and truly just my heart goes out to you in so much admiration and strength. The first few months of trying to conceive, obviously, again, science kind of played a role while Hunter's motility improved. But then at that 12-week mark, for months 3, 4, and 5, we were 100%. So it was a little bit more difficult to accept when I started my cycle, just because we felt so confident. But we did realize that my progesterone is actually low. I have a shortened luteal phase than I did with my first 2 kids, which is the time after ovulation before you start your cycle again, which is when your uterus is getting primed and prepped and ready for implantation. And you want to make sure that your uterine lining is thick enough and has enough time to thicken in order to support a pregnancy. So I went to a doctor, got some blood work done, and we decided to do Femara last month, and it was very successful, which is so exciting. I went back in to get my progesterone checked again after being on the fertility medication, and it increased by 74%, and it was a beautiful number and environment in order for me to implant. However, I did still start my cycle a few days ago, so that was a little bit discouraging, but I talked to my doctor and we decided we are actually going to double my dose of Femara just to have skyrocketing chances, the best that we can. Again, Hunter's 100% ready to go, and I am also 100% ready to go on Femara. So we have really incredible odds going into the next few months, and we feel really confident that we're going to be able to grow our family. But that is definitely a big change, doubling that dose. So to give you a little background on Femara, it is a medication that you take on days 3 through 7 of your cycle. And what it does is it actually suppresses your estrogen, which tells your body to produce more LH, which is what matures your follicles in order for your body to release an egg and have a very strong ovulation. Now, when you ovulate, your body also creates a corpus luteum, which is what signals to your brain to create progesterone, which is the hormone that you need in your luteal phase in order to support a pregnancy. So my doctor really wanted to approach this by really attacking the root of why my progesterone was low versus just supplementing with more progesterone, because I was already ovulating on my own. So we just wanted to strengthen that ovulation, which in turn would strengthen my corpus luteum, which would in turn strengthen my progesterone. I hope you're still following me. So again, it was successful, but even getting my progesterone that much higher with doubling my dose of Femara is going to give me even greater odds of getting pregnant this cycle. Now, at first I told you guys there were like no side effects to Femara. It was smooth sailing when I was taking the medication, and that is true. On days 3 through 7, I really don't have any side effects to note. Now, I will say, I've been doubling my medication, and I am on my 3rd day of taking 5 milligrams instead of 2.5. And the number one thing is hot flashes. I'm getting really bad hot flashes, but hot flashes for a pregnancy, I'll take it. Honestly, the side effects are really minimal. And then you ovulate. Your ovulation feels similar to a contraction. I'm just kidding, but it's a really intense ovulation. You cramp extremely badly. I am somebody who has always felt my ovulation, and so I just felt it tenfold. However, that made me really happy and optimistic, like, dang, this has got to be powerful. And last month, come to find out, it was. So I'm really prepared to just chill and lay in bed and eat ice cream when I ovulate this month. But it's after ovulation when the side effects of Femara being successful really start to come into play. So when I say that I was bloated, ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't like, oh, your girl's a little bloated, I'm not feeling my thinnest. No, no, no. Your girl was so distended. She looked a few months into pregnancy when she wasn't. Like, legitimately, I was so full in my tummy that from the time I ate breakfast in the morning, all throughout the day, like the moment I ate something, I felt like I had just drank a gallon of water because my stomach was just so full. Now, that is something that I can deal with. That is something that is so worth the fact that Femara is making my progesterone higher. And it's from that swing. It's from so much progesterone that my body's not used to, but it's producing it naturally, which is incredible. The fact I'm not having to supplement with progesterone is great. because by increasing the quality of my ovulation, we're not only improving my progesterone, but we're also improving the quality of the egg, which is definitely a bonus. Now, I will say, when my temperature dropped, which indicated to me that my period was coming and I knew I wasn't pregnant, I'm referring to my BBT in terms of temperature, all of that bloating went away. Like immediately went away. As soon as I started my period, I felt so much relief from the effects of Femara. And so it was short-lived, and honestly, having those side effects made me know that the medication was successful. So I was really positive about it. And so going into this next month, I know it's all gonna be a little worse than last month because I'm doubling my dose, but I'm feeling good about it, and I definitely could take Femara for the foreseeable future to try and have a baby. It's not something that I feel is a massive sacrifice, and obviously all of us as moms know we would make quite literally any sacrifice to have a baby, and so this feels like the tiniest trade-off to improve the quality of my cycle, to hopefully have conception happen. So I'm feeling really, really good and positive. I always mourn a little bit right when I start my cycle, just because obviously that can feel really discouraging because you have 2 weeks where you're quite literally making yourself believe that everything you're feeling is a pregnancy symptom. And no matter how much you distract yourself, and no matter how much you try and put it on the back burner, no matter how much you try not to lose yourself in it, I'm a highly emotional person. It's something I'm proud of, and I love that I feel things so deeply, and my love for my unborn child and my want and will for them to get here is not something that I can diminish, and I'm okay with that. I knew that I would be consumed by trying to conceive, but what's important is that I'm still happy. Even though I'm experiencing a little bit of consumption when it comes to the topic, I really only have a hard time just a few days before I find out if I'm pregnant or starting my cycle, and then I feel totally good. So I'm like, I can be a little bit down in the dumps or have rough mental health days for 2 or 3 days out of the month to try and have a baby. And that's something I'm willing to do. I know that this was a pretty big update for you guys, but it is definitely something that I feel like changes month to month. Our approach changes month to month. We had a lot of scientific factors going into everything, and I just feel so incredibly blessed that Hunter and I are both fertile, and that it does look like our bodies will definitely be able to conceive a baby. I know that that is such a privilege, so beyond a privilege. I feel so grateful, so happy, so optimistic. I do just want to say again that my heart goes out to those who have not yet been able to conceive a baby. Anybody who is on their fertility journey, I love you and I see you. But I hope you guys enjoyed this 6 month of trying to conceive update, and I will keep you guys posted throughout my cycle. And of course, I want to remind you to be brave like Beckham and Blakely, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.